back again. Detroit is different. Just Lead Conference, and here now with Asandi attending this conference. And really, what do you see? You work in this space of bringing equity and balance to this. What do you see about conferences like this? What would you like to see? What are you getting from this? And then what do you expect from it as well?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I am grateful for what I've heard so far with some really candid conversations and honesty around particular organizations, primarily for-profits, and holding them accountable to pledges that many of them made back in 2020 to revisit or create and implement more equitable and inclusive practices. So one of the sessions that I was in earlier this afternoon really lovingly, I would say, called out and called in organizations to not just check the box around diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging, but also to really invest not just hire someone or promote someone within an organization, but to really equip them with the authority, the influence, the decision making, and financial as well as people resources to begin to move the work within the organization, acknowledging that it takes time. And it's not a quick fix. It's not a 5-step strategy or program, that it really is a commitment for the long haul.
Okay, and when you talk about the commitment for the long haul and staying true to the promises, let's speak specifically for communities like the Black community that have heard this and feel like, it's just lip service. Is it going to be real? What do you think can change that trend of certain people just feeling as though this isn't going to be real? This isn't going to really impact my family. It's not going to be an opportunity for me. How will that begin to change? Because there's still a lot of people that feel like, I
hear that. I think part of it is, I believe that we rely on ourselves. I really believe in the idea and the notion of self-determination. And I do not believe, and this is me, Asandi, speaking not as a representative of an organization, but I'm not waiting for or expecting an organization or any entity to come and help my community, help my neighborhood. I believe the responsibility lies with me, it relies with my neighbors, and for us to begin to do that and to figure out how to do that. And certainly while doing so, we can advocate and use our agency and ask for resources that we may not have access to, but certainly deserve. But the idea of a corporation possibly going to save us, I don't live like that. So I think the responsibility and the onus is on me as an individual, my neighbors, and the community as a collective to facilitate and drive the change that we want to see. Wow. Like we get to do that. We get to determine our future, not some corporation or other entity.
So what does that look like for communities? Because definitely right now, as we know, the pulse, a lot of things are changing in some Detroit communities. You working in this space.
Yes.
How does a community arm itself to be included in the development or the redevelopment, or however we want to define it, of new corporate entities entering our community?
So I think there are a number of ways. One of the ways I think is where a starting point possibly is around honoring our voice. So, and that voice means, like, just yesterday, I believe it was, the city council approved the
Shot spotter.
And so I know that there were hundreds of folks that attended public meetings and used their voice. I think that is a perfect example of ways that we, again, the agency part of that. I think that's one of the many ways that we can do that. And are there in the accountability part of that as well. So it's the agency attending meetings, using your voice, but it's also the voice shows up in voting. It shows up in if you're in the city of Detroit, connecting with, building relationships, and even challenging when appropriate your council person that's for your district, and the district managers that are at the rec centers. Like, all of those folks are there supposedly to serve us. And so there's some direct local, in our community, in our hood accountability that we can leverage our voice around. And if folks are not showing up and serving in the way that we need to and working in partnership with us to bring investment and resources into our community, then we are well within our right to challenge and push back, or say, hey, you're not the person. I'm gonna roll with this person, or I'm gonna reach out and we're gonna identify, perhaps if it's a city council, a different candidate that we think is gonna be more in line. I think there are a number of ways in which the agency and the voice shows up, and how we can leverage that just on a level that is in our community, in our neighborhood, in addition to connecting with other organizations who may share values, and there may be some like-mindedness that we can have some impact more broadly across the city.
Thank you so much.